Only on the air, man. Confused generation. Ricky, na.
Hello guys, we're here again. This is Josh, and I'm here with my co-host
Jethro.
Alright, so we're back again on your speakers.
The Rethink Pod.
Yeah, the Rethink Pod. And we hope you guys enjoyed the last episode.
That was our debut episode.
Yeah. And
the Black Ghanaian.
The Black Ghanaian. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us just know your takes, on it.
Exactly, and please, if you haven't listened to it, please, we kindly beseech thee, by the mercies of God, please go listen to it. Support a brother, eh?
Alright. But anyways, before we proceed to today's topic for this episode, let's just listen to a few sound bites.
And the stupid behaviors and silly attitudes that we have are not from the devil. There's nobody called the devil. I've said this and many people have argued with me, but let me say it again. I think the devil is the greatest fictional character ever created. Because Christians don't want to hear this. What's the devil? Your fiction. I'm telling you. And every corner of Ghana is a church. Now, I think the hip thing is, if you have any building, the top floor, it's a church. Every corner is a church. And I don't care that they are churches, so if they are preaching and teaching you the truth, why is the church not preaching and telling you directly that the Satan that you are brought again to fight? No, the Satan is your attitude. The Satan, the evil that you are fighting is your attitude.
That was a wild one.
Wow.
I'm sure, I think people can discern who was talking on that soundbite, can they?
Yeah, I'm sure they can. They can recognize the voice.
Full disclosure, places Uncle KSM.
Yeah, that's very obvious. He's been in the system for quite some time. I think I've actually liked his programs.
TGIF, thank God it's Friday, back on Metro
then,
TV. I think, and even before then, his satirical shows, that dude's a legend. Uncle KSM, Charlie, solid pillar.
Yeah, I actually like him a lot. He has this great sense of humor. Yeah.
Very fine. The hilarity of his takes, top notch.
Yeah, knowledgeable.
Very knowledgeable.
Wow. So that brings us to today's topic, spirituality in nation building.
Exactly, spirituality in nation. So I think, personally, I do consume a bit of Uncle KSM's shows on YouTube. He is one of the few Ghanaians I do listen to him. Periodically, and prior to the elections, he began this new show on his YouTube channel. He's dubbed it the Nation Time Show or something. So there, through patriotic lessons and non-partisan lenses, he tries to suggest, discuss national topical issues in the country and propose and provide solutions on how we can move this beloved motherland of ours to greater heights.
Wow.
So that was why so when the soundbites we played earlier, that's a reference. So it's from his YouTube page. He has upon the videos there, you could just go search it out. It's an interesting show though. A very patriotic show. Kudos to Uncle KSM.
Wow. Interesting. That's great. Well, let me just ask this question. I like to ask questions, but
exactly, the scientist in you, the curious aspects of you,
analytical.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, do you think spirituality is a key thing when it comes to nation building?
So like I said, objectivity, right? So honestly, looking at it in its entirety, I would say it's an integral part. So yes, spirituality is key. Why do I say this? So we've had several civilizations scattered across, humans' existence on this planet, right? We've had the Egyptian civilization, the Babylonian civilization. Referring back to our other episode from our dear guy, the Black Empire, is it the Ghana Empire? So I mean, like, yes, several civilizations, but I think what, again, I do understand what Uncle KSM is trying to project. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, we have to blame ourselves. The kind of quote-unquote Christianity we practice this part of the world, I mean, that's what leaves him from all these, like, questions. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, imagine, I mean, from Uncle KSM's video,
before we even delve into that, so I think you've answered, you've answered that question. So you actually do think that spirituality is key when it comes to nation building?
I know we can't do without it.
Yeah. So let's just go back to the excerpt. The soundbite. He said, "There's nobody called the devil."
Well, I mean, actually, I do not know the spiritual standing of Uncle KSM, whether he's a deist. I mean,
honestly, I actually I used to think he was a Christian.
I think his dad was a past Presbyterian moderator of the Presby Church of Ghana, so you might have thought he might have had some Christian leanings. But I mean, from the way it sounded on the soundbite we played, probably he might be an agnostic at this point.
All right.
But I mean, from like the question asked, Satan, what do you say? What was the question?
There's nobody called the devil.
You know, it will be hard. In fact, if we asked Uncle KSM to back up what he's saying, he might find it difficult. Like, you might explain, but you might hit a wall, and beyond that, you can't explain. See, there are several things we can't explain logically, even with science.
Yeah, that's true. And it's quite funny how people underestimate that there's actually the spiritual side of existence. And I mean, it's sad.
I mean, like,
there's the physical and the spiritual.
There is, and even science tries to like encompass the unseen by, you know, creating this whole metaphysical realm. But I mean, metaphysical realm is just a scientific jargon thrown out there for, you know, for example, like subatomic particles are of metaphysical stuff, right?
Yeah.
But in a layman's, it will say they are spiritual. Why they're spiritual? Because we can't see them.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
we can't see them. So you see, there are several things. Like, for example, if you see a Hindu shaman levitate, like, as you like, if you see a Hindu shaman levitating, what laws of physics will you use to explain his levitation?
No, that I can't think of.
Like, how do like a Hindu shaman levitating? What laws of physics are you going to use? How do you explain that? That's a spiritual aspect of like this existence we find ourselves, where people fail to like dutifully and critically analyze. There are several things we can't explain with, I mean, our advancement in knowledge and all that. We are still very limited.
I think there are even video. I think I saw a video one time with a certain dude sitting in fire, and he was literally not being consumed. So, like we're saying, there are some things that are inexplicable. So, with that, how are you going to explain this? I mean, you are literally sitting in fire, and yet there's no sign of you being scorched or, you know, being burnt whatsoever. Like, you were literally playing in the fire.
Exactly.
So, how do you explain that?
How would science explain that? Yeah. And even from a storied and rich historical past, like when we read about characters such as Togbi Charlie and Okomfanoche, the acts they performed, I think historically they are verifiable.
Yeah.
Scientifically, how do you explain some of the acts performed by Okomfanoche? How do you fetch water with a basket? Would you use surface tension to explain that? I mean, like, all the smart scientists out there, please help me understand. Like, surface tension, blah, blah, capillarity, trying to explain what Okomfanoche's feat of fetching water in a basket.
And even if people don't even get to understand that there's the spiritual aspect of existence, of life. I mean, look at our movies, these Marvel movies, they try to portray the metaphysical dimension. When you look at this movie, Doctor Strange.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorcerer Supreme.
yes, I mean, you just get to know that there's something way beyond the physical. So, the devil.
I mean, like,
What do you think? Does
would-
he exist?
Of course, he does exist. I mean, there are several things you can't explain. How can some people be so evil? I mean, explain the source of evil or wickedness. Can science explain that? How do people come up with extremely wicked thoughts and act them out? For example, someone explained to me how Hitler and his Nazi Germany thought up the gas chambers to exterminate all those Jews during the Holocaust, during World War II. How? Because, for instance, if there's absence, because from what we understand, the devil is like what? The consummate being of malevolence, right?
Okay.
That's the devil. And since we can't see him, I mean, that explains why a lot of people have their doubts regarding him. But
The father of lies.
if we are to go, if we want to go into a deep dive regarding the existence and the person of the devil, that would be another conversation altogether. So,
But the bottom line is,
long story short, there is a being, a supernatural adversary, a supernatural being called the devil. Bonsam Nankasa.
yeah, and he even went on to say the greatest fictional character created is the devil.
I don't think, he was created by a supreme being, but not created by man. So
Yeah.
he's not a fictitious character. I mean, I beg to dissent on that.
He's
one.
a real being.
Very, very real.
Very real
I
being.
mean, go ask people who are into, ritual stuff.
And
They will tell
occultism
you
and all of that.
These creatures, like this quote-unquote mystical creatures we talk about, leprechauns. I mean, the local, version of them, we will say dwarfs, right? No, I think they are different characters, because, we have Snow White and the seven dwarfs. So, dwarfs are another class of mystical creatures. And then we have leprechauns. People go look up what a leprechaun, like that creature is. I think he's drawn to gold or something. They go it's a Scottish, like an English or Scottish mystical creature. Yeah. And we have dwarves, what do you think these things are, that they are non-existent? Like, go back to, we are in Africa, right? In Ghana, to be precise. Go ask your granddad, your grandmom, ask them oh, grandpa, please, are dwarfs real? And hear what he will tell you. The same way dwarfs are real, Satan is very real.
There's a dark side of life.
That's the dark plane. Exactly.
In the dark dimension. Wow. So, can we move on to the second
thing
thing he said? He says, the Satan is your attitude.
Probably, let me see.
I think
It's a truism. It's a truism. It's a hackneyed expression. I get what Uncle KSM is trying to do. So we've already settled for Satan is real. So, but probably let's rephrase what Uncle KSM said. I wouldn't say the Satan is your attitude. I would say one of the greatest impediments to your advancement is your own personal attitude.
That's true.
I think that's a more accurate representation, right?
Yeah.
Because, Satan is.
But come to think of it, I think oftentimes we blame the devil for things that he hasn't done. Meanwhile,
Exactly.
Yeah.
He has a part to play.
Yes.
He's a mastermind of several other things. The devil hasn't got time to come and focus on you. Kwabena Mensa in, Latabio Koshe somewhere in Ghana. Like Ghana say, he doesn't have your self time like that.
And the way people make it look like the devil is everywhere trying to get at everyone. He actually has beings around him that do his bidding. So he doesn't necessarily have to be where you are for Do you know where I'm coming from?
I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's not everywhere, though he causes havoc. Like you said,
Like,
he
he's
has
not
bigger
omnipresent.
matters. He has bigger matters that he deals with.
Exactly. I mean, like, what I'm trying to say is that, like, for the topic, for the issue of Satan, he's real. I mean, he's a mastermind. I mean, he's in his own lane, whatsoever. Let's not delve into that. But I'm just trying to talk about truth is, yes, as Ghanaians, we have an attitudinal problem. Facts.
Yeah, that's true.
Our mindset is so averse to progress and prosperity. I mean, in the main, like, generally speaking, the attitude of Ghanaians, like, we are sometimes it's a bit incomprehensible, but we are so backward in our thinking. You sometimes just can't explain it. Do you get it? Like, we have these inexplicable traits, like they are self-harming in a sense, the way we think. And I think that's what Uncle KSM is trying to, like, address. We have an attitudinal problem.
That's true.
As a people in this country. And we need to revise that if we really want to, like, see our aim of seeing this country in advance.
Seeing progress.
Exactly, come to light.
Okay, so do you think we can, I mean, like, how do I even put it? Someone argue his case out and say, oh, I mean, look at other countries like China, should I, maybe Japan, and what have you. They are literally doing well as a country, as countries, but they don't seem to be spiritual like we Africans, or let me just narrow it down to our country, Ghanaians are. But yet, we claim we are spiritual, but we aren't seeing progress in nation building.
Okay, so I'll just say, like, we have the benefit of living in the 21st century. So several millennia have passed. So there's a treasure trove of information, I mean, lived experiences of several civilizations that have predated our existence that we can learn from. Okay, so I like the Western civilization so much because it's still around. Okay, I mean, it's degenerated and devolved, but I think it's still existent. What was the bedrock of Western civilization? The bedrock of Western civilization was the inroads Christianity made into the Caucasian race.
Wow.
Do you get it?
I think the other time we were discussing something about America, and you were like, it was literally
like
founded by...
Exactly. I mean, people would like to argue about the fact that, I mean, these were people who believed in Judeo-Christian principles. Like, yeah, George Washington was a deist. What have you? Maybe probably Thomas Jefferson was, or some say maybe an agnostic in a sense, but I don't think he was an agnostic. He was probably a deist, or maybe, like, yeah, he believed, he had the Bible, and I think it was one of the books he read most of the time. So the United States of America was founded on what? Judeo-Christian principles. And I mean, as I like to tout, they are the greatest country that's existed in the existence of mankind.
All right.
So if we want to be like an America, well, I mean, why not? Let's borrow their positives from their history and try to incorporate it in ours, right?
Yeah.
Because, see, that's what people forget. If you do not take care of that spiritual aspect of the human being, you know, like our dad likes to say, as one of his statements I find true to the word. It says, an educated person without spiritual enlightenment, like without Christ, is only a refined beast. So our dad likes to say, an educated person without Christ is just a refined beast. And it's so true, because Hitler was an educated person, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
But he schemed up a diabolical scheme to exterminate
the Jews,
a great number of Jews. right?
Yeah.
What is that guardrail that would prevent a Hitler from scheming up something so hellish? So that's where the spiritual part comes to the fore. Because if we try to say, oh, it's not important and all that, see, we'll be creating what? Intelligent monsters.
That's true.
Do you get it? Yeah, we'll be advanced and all that, and then we'll see people coming out like, because we are now more sophisticated, we'll have what? More sophisticated ways of what? Perpetrating evil and wickedness.
I mean, morality will literally go downhill.
Exactly. So spirituality, like, that part is key, and I mean, there's enough proof that the best form of spirituality that cures or mitigates the defects in the morality of humans is Christianity.
Wow.
There's this statement I believe was made by a man of God. He says, what makes a man a good Christian would make him a good citizen. Just think about that statement. What makes a man a good Christian would make him a good citizen, implying good Christians make model citizens.
That's true. Because it didn't come to think of it. Not even think of it. I mean, like, the Bible even makes it clear. It speaks against, being indolent, being lazy. It speaks against I mean, like, just think of it, like, you have to be hardworking. It encourages us to be hardworking, work with our hands. It speaks that we should be morally upright, love your neighbor as you love yourself. I mean, all of that. So
you see, what people don't understand is that Christianity as a religion that goes beyond just constraining outward behavior. It's not a behavior modification therapy. It goes beyond that. It goes to the root of the human psyche, which is your spirit, your soul, and tries to, like, work out a renewal in there. So it's like you are being worked on from the inside out. So if we have that inner defect corrected by the Holy Spirit or whatever, by Christianity, you're able to live out a more morally upright life.
yeah, that's true.
That's it. Because that is how come for there's no way an intelligent Christian would, like, let me say, I said intelligent Christian, right, would scheme up ways of monetizing pedophilia.
That's evil.
Exactly, pedophilia. I mean, like, sleeping with underage kids and all that.
That's very evil.
That's one thing the West is battling. I mean, especially in the United States, the rise of pedophilia.
What?
Exactly.
Have we got into that?
But aren't they, should I say, advanced? Aren't they enlightened? But is that the kind of enlightenment you'd want in our country, Ghana?
Not at
Where
all.
we become so enlightened. I mean, look at the LGBTQ, as the whole alphabet soup. This is coming from the quote-unquote enlightened people, right?
Yeah.
It's like they become overly enlightened that they are now bordering on stupidity and foolishness.
When you being say enlightened, let's just put the enlightened in quotes.
Air quotes. I mean, people in the West, someone can say, I identify as a chicken.
Man.
Trust me, my illiterate relative in the village would never come and sign from me, actually. Brah, sesi ade me akoko, mon friend me akoko kwame. No, it's like that kind of enlightenment. I mean, that kind of enlightenment they impede. But so that's where I want people, like, this would be what people should catch from this. You can't deny the spiritual aspect of our existence. And once you're able to form a foundation of, propriety, right? You can build on that, and it even accelerates your development. Like I said, just look at the West. We've very brilliant minds, being followers of the tenets of the Christian faith. Isaac Newton, Pascal, Alexander Fleming. There are several others. Even the inventor of the first printing press, Gutenberg, was a believer. I think he was a believer because the first book that he ever printed on his new invention was the Bible.
Wow.
Do you get it? So, I mean, I understand what Uncle KSM sought to do, right?
So spirituality,
It's very
basically we are saying spiritual. When it comes to spirituality, it plays a quintessential role in nation building.
Because we don't want useful idiots in our country. We do not want overly enlightened folks who end up being the most foolish people you can
But
find.
I think one thing that I've observed is that people try to take the negative and make it, and tarnish the Christian faith. Like they look at what so-called pastors or men of God are doing, and then they try to generalize it as though this is all Christianity is all about. They are fake pastors, they are this and that, but then we still have good ones out there.
Exactly.
So
there can only be bad nuts if there are good nuts.
Yeah.
Counterfeits exist when there is the original.
Yeah.
We have genuine, bona fide, men of God, but unfortunately, in mainly the kind of Christianity we see in our space here leaves room for a lot of questions. I do not buy into the kind of Christianity we practice here in Ghana and across Black Africa by extension. I have my reservations.
Let us drift a little. Why do you say that?
It's like most often than not, I've come to see that's like the kind of the charismatism that we claim to practice borders a bit on cult of personality. So it's like we are basically creating demigods down here.
Okay.
That wasn't how I think the founder of the faith sought it to be propagated. And there are several ills. It's only charismatism that at the command of your prelate you can go outside and be eating grass like a herbivore.
Yeah. I think in the same video I saw that.
Exactly. Like this isn't the Christianity bequeathed to us by the early apostles. Please.
Like, how can you tell your congregants to go eat grass,
drink bleach and all that? World Cutlass is saying you are at war with the devil. Of course, no one than KSM would just shake his head in disbelief. Because this is just so preposterous. Like, it's so asinine, very stupid.
I don't know why he's just seeing the bad side. Well, if he gets to see other, like the good side of, Christianity, like people who are literally living the life that Christ.
When I'm talking about Christian, I'm talking about the kind of Christianity that led to the creation of a titan like John Rockefeller. Like, that's a brand of Christianity I'm talking about. The kind of Christianity that changed a man like Abraham Lincoln for him to become one of the most beloved presidents in American history. That's the brand of Christianity I'm talking about. The brand of Christianity that who was it? I think there was this Scottish or Welsh revivalist. I forgot his name, but
Scottish.
I really forgot his name, but he was one person. I think an English monarch once said he doesn't fear armies, but he fears, I think, John Knox.
I think John Knox.
He fears, or she fears, I think it was a female monarch. She fears the presence of John Knox. Do you get it? Like, that's a kind of Christianity.
And even I think St. Patrick of Ireland.
Exactly, all these people. Luther.
Yeah.
Martin Luther, the reformist.
I think we have a lot more to say on subsequent episodes when it comes to spirituality. We'll have to, have
take
some
time and
exactly,
just take
dissect
a deep dive.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. But what we were trying to say is that, like,
When it comes to nation building,
spirituality as an aspect
We
to
can't
be
take out.
critically examined. We need that bit. Do you get it?
Absolutely.
We really need that bit. Otherwise, we would only have more intelligent and creative ways of becoming evil. That's what's happening to the West now, because they've decided to just do away with the spiritual bit and just focus on human beings.
Kick God
That's the
out of
ultimate-
their
exactly.
educational systems.
That's what we've seen. It's just Western civilization going downhill. Do you get it? It's retrogressing. I mean, it's just
We just
crazy.
can't live our lives independent of the Creator.
Exactly. So, like I asked earlier, what guardrails, or what constraints can prevent another Hitler from being created? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because I don't think Hitler was a dumb person. I don't think he was an uncivilized person. I think he was a visionary of his time. But yet this same visionary mind schemed up a diabolical plot to almost cause the genocide of the entire Jewish population back then.
Yeah.
What guardrails can prevent a smart mind like Hitler from coming up with malevolent plans and executing them? Do you get it? And I'm sure probably, let me just check with someone myself, but what about other religions and all that? See, other religions, quote unquote, right, are just let me see, what should I say?
Should we just use that?
They are just behavioral modification therapies, like I said earlier. Do you get it? It's like how we have the police to enforce law and order, but the policeman cannot prevent someone from causing from the intent to perpetrate a crime.
Okay.
Do you get it?
I think I get you.
So, what the novel, should I say, the special thing about Christianity that, like I said earlier, it seeks to work on the individual from the inside out.
Then the outward comes.
Exactly. Because if you
So
see,
you express the life that's within you outwardly.
exactly.
Okay.
Because all the things, all the virtues we praise in humanity, you can just find them in the teachings of Christianity, right? Do you get it?
Yeah.
And people always try to say that, there are other religions, but the religion that best takes care and rectifies the spiritual defects in mankind over time has been shown to be the Christian faith.
Wow.
Do you get it? So I don't want to go into details regarding that, but another time.
Another time, yeah.
There's
But at the end of the day, the bottom line is spirituality indeed plays a key role in nation building.
Of course, and I understand Uncle KSM's frustration. Myself, Charlie, I'm also very frustrated. The kind of quote-unquote Christianity we practice in Ghana there, why wouldn't Uncle KSM question its efficacy?
Personally, I also have my reservations when it comes to, certain things about Christianity. Like the way we act out Christianity here in this country. I have my own picks on that.
Do you know, people forget, the United States of America, I think one of the first immigrants to that country were the Pilgrims aboard the Mayflower boat sailing from England to the New World in America. These were Christian pilgrims settling on the East Coast. Do you get it? So, and if we believe America is the greatest nation on earth now, people have their reservations about that, but just post World War II, America has solely been responsible for the reconstruction and the rebuilding of war-torn Europe. has been responsible for the reconstruction and rebuilding of what war-torn Japan. As much as America has its deficiencies, I mean, it's been a force for good across most of human history post-World War II. I mean, the war basically came to an end during World War II because of those two atomic bombs dropped on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the greatest country that started as a result of Christian pilgrims, emigrating or migrating from England to the US. I mean, so it's a lot. Probably we can't unpack a lot. It might sound a bit all over the place on this episode, but
that will come up in a subsequent episode.
Exactly.
There are a lot of stuff that we would have to talk about right here on this podcast.
Intentionally, we try to keep this pod as brief as possible. But then, if you do enjoy this, I think we could do a deep dive into this.
Yeah, because I think basically we've been answered. Spirituality indeed plays a key role in nation building.
That's a summary.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think we can leave it here, right,
Josh?
Josh?
I think it's been an interesting conversation. Learned much. But then again, did you enjoy it? How was it?
I think as usual, I'm like Sheldon on the Big Bang Theory. I like to hear myself talk.
That was ridiculous. Wow. So this is Josh here.
Jethro here.
And once again, we're coming right back on the speakers.
Hope you enjoyed this one.
With exciting topics to dissect. Until then, can we just say goodbye for now?
Goodbye for now. I mean, shout out to all the Odadias out there.
Alright.
You know why we are being emphatic on Odadia, but unfortunately some hater or challenge, some draw for some side, they say why would they mention Odadia? I'm like, Charlie, we are giving credibility. Like with the US, Charlie, in the US, some of you can, Harvard educated, Princeton educated. Even Donald Trump calls himself a genius because he attended an Ivy League school, right? UPenn. So same here. People like you throw about their academic, the credentials of their alma maters, the academic institutions they attended. So in our Ghanaian space, shout out to all the Odadias. He paying you, I paying you. That's what it is.
Alright, so guys, once again, this is the Rethink Pod, and we'll be back again on the speakers. Until then, it's goodbye for now.
Be good, guys.
Long time them chant and a lover. We no poor them friend, the boy a backstabber. Big and ways and now we now follow cause we too icy that one J couple of that. You look for me with a lot of mercy. Lord God, you really show me lots of L-O-V-E. Moving on, I know you can feel me. Oh, you are.